This is Chase Batiche with Oracle Podcast, making sure everything's getting recorded and we're doing it. I'm a little late this week. For some reason, I just spaced out on Easter. I went and hung out with my friend who's got a few horses, and we were hanging out at her house and working in her greenhouse and stuff, and I came home and took a nap. How dare I? I usually record these on Sunday, but it's all good. I'll release it tonight, Monday. It is for the week of April 21st through 27th. How is everybody doing out there? Happy Easter. Happy April, mid-April, almost May. It's starting to get hot here in the desert. We're starting to get into the 80s now. It's the desert's so weird. It's it's either hot or cold. That's how I feel. It's either hot or cold. There's really not much of an in-between. So now it's hot. And when it's cold, it's really cold. And when it's hot, it's really hot. And I spent hours in the sun yesterday, and I had to come home and take a nap. So, okay. I want to talk about the astrology of this week because it's pretty wild. Well, I mean, I say that every week, but whatever. Astrology is wild. It's a wild thing. And we live in unprecedented times. So I'm allowed to say that because it's true. So there's some things going on. So as you guys all know, we have Venus direct now. We have Mercury direct now. They're not in retrogrades anymore, which is pretty great. Venus was in retrograde for 6 weeks. That was an intense period. We had a lot of reviewing of relationships and of what we're worth, what we value. Venus retrograde's no joke. And then Mercury retrograde, I mean, we all kind of feel that all the time. That's when, you just can't. Mercury rules communication. So in our entire world, Mercurial is rationality. It's Mercury. And our entire world is ruled by Mercury currently because we haven't figured out how to be telepathic. At least some people have. I've kind of figured it out. But until that becomes a mainstream thing, Mercury is going to be the main thing. Then Neptune will hit us. But when Mercury's retrograde, it's really hard to communicate things. Sometimes you do a big review and then things get lost. There's emails wires get crossed. People don't get messages and misunderstandings, all that shit. And that was going on too. So it was it's not really, Mercury retrograde's not fun. Sometimes retrogrades, though, we need them because we need those periods of reflection. That's what life is. It's a spiral. We can't just always go forward. We have to go forward and then we come back and then we go forward some more and then we go back and then we go forward some more. That's birth. That's the spiral. That's how it all works. So let's talk about the astrology of this next coming week. So the sun has moved into Taurus, which is lovely. We're moving into Taurus season now. That's my little claw, excuse me. And what that means is that it's a time of really enjoying the fruits of the earth. I mean, Taurus season is about the bounty of the beauty of the planet, and it's kind of amazing. Now that I'm sinking into astrology as I am in this era, my consciousness has expanded as much as it has. Taurus, I mean, it's all the flowers are blooming in the desert. It's Taurus season is when everything starts to blossom and bloom. And that's Taurus is ruled by Venus. It's the divine feminine. It's beauty. It's just that type of sun this time of year in spring where the earth is starting to show her petals, The earth is showing us her vagina. She's exposing her yoni to us. She's giving us her beauty. She's displaying those sweet, sweet, beautiful pieces that we can all really enjoy. And Taurus season is really about taking that in, going slower, reveling in the beauty, allowing the beauty to be, joy around that beauty. when we get caught in beauty, we kind of like, it kind of freezes our world. It's kind of transformative, So, yeah, it's really a time of like going inward and really allowing yourselves. It rules the senses. Taurus rules the senses, taste, sight, feet, touch, smell. What's the fifth one? Yeah, so it's really about this kind of taking things in. It's about receiving. Taurus is really about receiving, which is Venusian, and that is the feminine element. If you think about it, I mean, the yoni receives the phallus, right? Taurus is the Venus, ruled by Venus, and it's about receiving the beauty of the earth and receiving beauty. So I would challenge you all to really start thinking about that this week. And, I've talked quite a bit about how receptivity is the key to self-worth. And I actually have an article I'm writing right now about that. It's called Reflections on Venus. I'm going to publish that soon because it's perfect timing for the season. But yeah, so we're in Taurus season. The thing that's kind of gnarly this week, okay, so by, let's see here, what days is it exact? Yeah. So on the 25th and 26th, Mars and Pluto are going to be exact opposing. That's a pretty intense opposition there. So Pluto rules transformation, death and rebirth. Mars rules assertiveness and the go pedal, pushing things, bold action, making things happen. It also rules sex and inspiration, like feeling excited and just going for it. So those two things opposing each other can really be a transformative kind of raw action and deep transformation, or something I put. There could be power struggles, especially because Pluto is in the sign of Aquarius and Mars is in the sign of Leo, and those two things are, Leo is very much about the self, Aquarius is about the collective. There could be ego clashes. There could be clashes with internally around what you want to do for the collective and how you feel about yourself. But I kind of personally think it's more about this like kind of potent creativity kind of coming out to be really be allowed and to be seen and to be felt. It's also allowing yourself to break free from oppressive structures. That's definitely one of them. Leo rules creativity. It rules expression. And Aquarius has a lot to do with kind of moving beyond hierarchies and really about the collective as a whole. So this is really about kind of, it just feels like we're in these moments of like really breaking out of these old structures, and we're feeling it as a collective. What's wild to me is that, you guys know I work with Lilith, Dark Moon Lilith. So Pluto's at 3 degrees, Lilith is at 3 degrees, Mars is at 3 degrees. And then during this whole thing, the sun is it's almost exact to, tomorrow, the 22nd, Lilith is going to be opposing the moon at sun to 3 degrees. This is called a fixed grand cross. This is actually, in astrology, a fixed grand cross is known to be one of the most intense aspects. And we have really intense, archetypes here for this. So I kind of think this is an interesting, I kind of think that this is a really interesting mixture here. Lilith has a lot to do with the untamed feminine, the wild feminine inside of us all, the repressed feminine, the undomesticated feminine. Lilith was the outcasted first wife of Adam who refused to submit. She was cast out of Eden. She represents a lot of An empowered Lilith is about sacred rage transmuted into fuel, sexual sovereignty and magnetism, divine defiance, purposeful wildness, embracing your truth even if it costs you approval. So it has a lot. I really identify with this. I really, really vibe with Lilith. I feel very connected to Lilith. That's why I'm starting to work with it. It has a lot to do with with the refusal to submit. And you guys know I wrote that book, Witchy Bitch. The witch archetype doesn't submit. If you died a witch, you refuse to, ask for forgiveness or swear fealty to fucking God or whatever. I remember in grad school I read this book called The Caliban and the Witch, and it was all about the rebelliousness of the witch and the witch archetype and how it's been used in capitalism and how the feminine. It was like a intense book, but I remember there was a lot of stuff about rebellion and then the women that refused to even cry out in pain when they were being burned to death and stuff, and this refusal to let anything have power over you, refusal to, it's funny because I've been working with horses a lot lately, and my friend Skylar has this, I was hanging out with on Sunday, and she has this wild Mustang called Verdandi, and Verdandi is a beautiful mare. Oh my God, but she is wild, man. Like, she's young, she's wild, and she was traumatized. Like, somebody tried to put her in a cage. Somebody tried to really tame her, and she's still not having it. She was running all around. The second my friend Skylar and I were trying to put her in this one pen kind of, and then she freaked out and started running, and it's kind of that wild, mare power energy of just I refuse to submit, So that energy, Lilith, is squaring Pluto, the lord of the underworld and of transformation, which is also squaring Mars, the planet of action and, assertiveness, and the sun. So a fixed grand cross, the reason it's called fixed is because it's in a fixed placement, meaning it's in a fixed it's in the fixed center of the season. So Taurus is a fixed sign. It's in the middle of the season. That's when things are fixed. So depending on each sign is either a cardinal, fixed, or mutable. So they're either beginning cardinal, fixed in the middle, mutable at the end, which means it's changeable. So this aspect here, this is intense, man. I mean, I'm just gonna tell you what I'm picking up because I'm seeing it. Because I work as a counselor at as a coach and a guide at a few different places, and what I am seeing with my bare eyes are women and men that are very empathic, people that are, but I've been seeing it with a lot of women that are just saying, I'm not doing this anymore. I've had 3 women in the past week in their 70s, mid-70s, leaving their husbands of 40-something years. I'm not saying that, you need to go out and leave your husband. I'm saying that there have been power structures that have existed, and something is happening where this energy, because I am feeling this feminine energy. I mean, it is the year of the snake, and it is it's bursting at the seams, and that's kind of what this feels like, this fixed grand cross, honestly. It's what it feels like to me. It just feels like, man, this is really this. It's a tight. So a T-square in astrology is when 3 things are in this tension. It's a tension aspect. So everything in astrology has these, they're called, they're geometric patterns. And there's trines, there's squares, there's quincunxes, there's all these different types of aspects. But really, people really talk about conjunctions, oppositions, trines, and squares. Those are kind of the big ones. And squares, they have a certain amount of pressure, and there's a release point when you have a square. It's like a triangle, but they're in this aspect. It's like when you play a note and it doesn't sound right. A trine is harmonious, a square is inharmonious. So it creates this kind of distortion and this kind of pressure. And it's usually between three elements, and there's usually a release point. In this one, there's no release point. So it's this build up because it's a square. It's like literally 4 points going, and they're all building on each other, and they're almost all at the exact point. They're almost all at the exact same degree, which is actually the energy of 3, which is a very powerful number. Mind, body, spirit. It has a lot to do with, Nikola Tesla said, if you understand 369, you'll understand the entire universe. I'm still working on that one. But, 3 has been used throughout time and space. I think it has a lot to do with the magician archetype. It has a lot to do with, stabilizing things. It's the Trinity. It's when things become, there's a harmonious aspect. It's when things, the first is the initial, the 2 is like the pairing, and then 3 is when you start to, there's like power behind it. There's like initiation energy. It's kind of moving into a whole new realm. So I'm not sure, like, so this square, man, it's like, this is gnarly. It's a gnarly pressure building up point. It's a gnarly, something is going to come from this. So this next week, just watch yourself, because I don't know, man. I mean, for myself, I'm just feeling really, it feels to me like it's like I'm kind of like riding. It feels like I'm like, like you could kind of like ride, you can like play the keys on the piano. It's like do 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 do, just kind of keeps going up. That's kind of where I feel like my life is like right now. It's like do 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 do, and there's this rising, this serpent energy, the year of the snake, Lilith, the 3. Pluto, the Lord of transformation, Mars, that planet of action and assertion and actually movement, mixing with the sun, which with everything revolves. I mean, this is a pretty powerful and potent energy. And then at the same exact time, we're in the season of Venus, the season of Taurus, the season of the divine feminine. I mean, shit. Oh man. Also, 3 is in the tarot is related to the Empress, which is ruled by Venus. Oh, that's what it feels like. Wow. It's like this really powerful feminine energy that's coming online. That's what it feels like to me. So I don't know. I would just say watch how that shows up for you. For me, it's showing up like I have kind of like new levels of self-worth. This is kind of what keeps coming up for me over and over and over again, is these new levels of self-worth, that it's the releasing of shame. It's like the feminine frequency that's like moving into the light, if that makes sense. It's like the feminine beginning to truly lead. It's not feeling shame around the feminine energy of this earth and planet. That's what I like identify with. That's the archetype I identify with so much in my life, is the divine feminine, the sacred feminine. And I've always had certain levels of shame. It's like that Sampa the Great song, if I was astonished by the level of shame, feminine energy rain, intuition, inhibition running through my veins. Watch that. We listen to that song. It's called Energy by Sampa the Great. It's so amazing. But it's insane how much shame the feminine has been holding for eons and eons. It's interesting because I'll share this story. I recently did an ayahuasca ceremony. It was actually all women. It was pretty incredible. And during that ceremony, I had fasted for 2 days and I didn't have much to puke up, but I all of a sudden did a spontaneous purge and I puked something up, and the person who cleaned out my bucket, I mean, it was a gnarly purge, and the person who cleaned out my bucket, I was so grateful to her. I was like, thank you. But she said when she was like emptying it out, there was like, it was all watery except for like this one thing that was like this thick ass piece of something. She said it looked like a cricket. It was like dark. And I just knew intuitively that it had something to do with the feminine line, with the feminine energy. And I had a feeling that it had to do with like the dark feminine. And I had to do with shame. So last week I was like shopping. I was like getting some new clothes for spring. And I was like looking at myself in the mirror, and I realized that I didn't have the same imprints of shame inside of me that I used to have. And then I was in the bathtub and I realized I didn't feel shame anymore. And I was like, I think I released the frequency of shame. And I think that might have been what I purged. And I think it's all connected to where we're at now with this feminine energy rising. And I think that's what this whole year is about energetically. So I don't know. I mean, I would just say for yourself, start asking yourself what would your life look like if you didn't carry shame? I mean, it's such a dark, intense frequency that so many of us carry that keeps us from doing so much. You know, it keeps us from doing so much that we're meant to do. You know, it's like, it's hard to really, really reach your full potential if you carry shame. You know, it's like a flower blossoming, its face to the sun can't carry shame. If it carries shame, it won't blossom fully. You know, I mean, it's hard to think of a flower carrying shame, but it's interesting that we as humans do that. I mean, we are nature. We are nature. So what would your life look like if you didn't carry shame inside of you? Where do you still carry shame? You know, my whole life I had a lot of shame around, oh man, you know, I grew up in Southern California. My dad was in the music business. He was the vice president of Elektra Records in the 70s and 80s. It's a pretty intense, gnarly job, you know? He put Queen on the radio. I mean, he was in the center of Hollywood. The Eagles. He put Eagles on the radio for the first time. He signed the Cars. He was deep in the entertainment business. And man, it's a creative world, but it is also so fucking dark. It's so superficial. It's so materialistic. And I was a child of that. And man, I had so much shame. I mean, we all do about our bodies. That's America. But growing up in Southern California, I had a lot of shame about my body. And I'm a curvy ass Italian woman. Like, that's who I am. And I'm ethnic. I'm ethnic as fuck. And yeah, it was just funny. That was a really funny, trying to fit in. Never, ever, really, 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 really. And I never could. That was the thing, is that I just never, ever, ever could. No matter how hard I tried. I never could. You know, so, but it led me to this point I am today, and it led me down an authentic road. But we're really in this era that we're in is about non-conformity. That's really what we're kind of into. And I've been having a realization lately, because I live in Joshua Tree, which is like, you know, close to LA. And I've kind of, you know, my mom was a beauty queen. My mom was beautiful. And I come from, you know, that energy. And I mean, we're all beautiful. But I've noticed that I think part of the whole thing with materialism and the 3D and this conformity has a lot to do with wanting to look and be a certain way. And I kind of had this realization. I was at the grocery store today, like in the line, and I was like, I think this new era is about actually not about looks anymore. I think that the era of authenticity is going to be about like not being with people or being attracted to people just based on how they look. It's really going to be about their frequency and their authenticity and their vibration and their soul. I really kind of think that that's where we're heading. Just because it's gotten so out of control and the standards have gotten so out of control. But not only that, the people that I've noticed that prioritize their looks over everything, it's like, it's so empty. It's like, it's dull. It's so materialistic. It's the outside versus the inside. What's inside? That's the good shit. That's what's interesting. You know what I mean? So I don't know. I kind of feel like this new era, that's kind of that's going to be what it's about. It's going to be about coolness. It's going to be about how cool you are. Meaning, how interesting are you? What are your ideas like? Are you original? Do you think outside of the box? Do you have original ideas? That's kind of the new revolution. That's the new era. And to me, that's kind of what the emergence of the feminine has a lot to do with. This over materialism and rationality. You know, this it has to give way to this kind of raw, primal, feminine energy that has a lot to do with intuition and feeling and authenticity. So, yeah, those are my thoughts about that. That's that T-square we got going on this week. It's nutty, guys. I mean, we got Lilith, we got Mars, we got the Sun, and we got Pluto. You guys, I mean, that's an intense T-square. Fixed grand cross. No, sorry, not T-square. It's a fixed grand cross. And then also we have the moon. We have the sun. We have the north node. Currently, the north node, Saturn and Venus are all at the same degree, which it's kind of wild because Saturn creates stability. Saturn creates structure. Saturn creates the materialism. Saturn brings it down to earth. That blending with the energies of Venus, which is the divine feminine, it creates structure. And then the north node, which is the collective destiny point. At this exact moment, we're having this T-square, which to me is the serpent energy rising. I mean, Saturn is the lord of karma, blending with the energy of Venus, the divine feminine, blending with the collective destiny point of where we're heading. You can't really make this shit up. Maybe it's just what I'm seeing, but I feel like I'm part of the collective, and whatever I'm seeing is what's happening. You know, whatever you're seeing is what's happening. But I mean, this is what's happening in my life. So I don't know. It just feels like there's this karma, there's this emergence, there's this container for this feminine energy that's emerging right now, and it's like it just feels really potent and raw and real, and yeah, I don't know, it just feels really fucking good to me. That's all I gotta say. It feels like coming out of a cage. You know, it's like I was thinking today about how, and I don't know if this is just age or maturity or the amount of shadow work I've done or what, but I was just thinking today about like I'm so self-aware. I'm such a self-aware person, and you know, I've been aware of like my limitations, especially like with like energy or not being able to move past something, you know, like a thought or a feeling. And it's just been amazing because lately I've just been moving past so much shit that I used to just, I remember being like, how do I move past this? You know, praying and asking for guidance and this and that. And I just really think with all this energy in Pisces and this, you know, that North Node Saturn Venus energy, it's all in Pisces, and it's like this, we have this transcendental energy with us right now, this awareness. that's giving us, like, when I talked about it last week, it's like lifting the veil. It's just giving us the power to move past limitations, man. And it's like the dissolving of materiality. It's the quantum energy. It's so powerful. I hope you guys are not taking advantage. I'm not going to use that word anymore. I hope you guys are accessing this, letting yourselves access this right now, which has a lot to do with just stepping into things. I am this thing, and allowing yourself to become it. It's really how you just kind of quantum leap. It's really kind of it. So those are kind of the main things I wanted to talk about this week. This video is nuts because I recorded this when it was getting dark, and now it's totally dark in the room, but whatever. If you're listening to the podcast, thanks for listening. Let me know your thoughts about all this that I covered. It's kind of wild. It's kind of a wild time. I myself am gonna do some meditations on this. I'm gonna go take a bath and do some meditations on this because I really think it's true. All right, I love you guys. Have a wonderful week. Talk to you later.